Hello everyone, and welcome back to Gregtech New Horizons. So we were processing all the materials we got from the moon last episode, and with that we were able to get our hands on titanium, which means we have finally unlocked the EV age. But I did also decide that things really weren't working in this base, both aesthetically and functionally. So we will be moving bases, and I'm leaning towards going to the Void Dimension, which is only available in IV. I don't know why it's gated this long, but we basically have to have access to tungsten steel, we need to go to Mars, and we need to visit the asteroid belts. But first things first, in order to get tungsten steel, we need to upgrade our blast furnaces. These things are only running at HV tier, and tungsten steel in the blast furnace requires 1920 EU per tick, which is EV. So to power all the machines in our base, we're currently using C10 boosted diesel, and we are burning those in combustion generators. This one actually still has fuel. Let's fix that. There we go. But I would like to move away from these single block combustion generators and move into some centralized power solutions. And the way we're going to do that is with the IC2 Nuclear Reactor. So there is a quest for this reactor, and we're more or less just going to be following this. I don't foresee this giving us any issues in terms of the crafting materials. We should have enough titanium for this by now. We need a total of 9 of these chambers, which is 18 titanium each, plus a bunch of steel, carbon, more iron, advanced alloy, which is mixed metal ingots, tons and tons of lead, and a few HV circuits, along with platinum as well. We may have an issue getting some platinum, but let's first of all craft everything else. Yeah, so I knew this was going to happen. It's actually the platinum here that's given us the issue with this nuclear reactor craft. Well, not exactly. We have the platinum wire. It's just for the nuclear reactor we have to have platinum cable, which means we have to coat it in rubber. But apparently not this kind of rubber. We need a different kind of rubber. So we basically have two options here. We can either do silicon rubber or Styrene-Butadiene Rubber. Apart from that, I think we have all the rest of the materials, depending on how expensive the heat exchangers are. I didn't get quite this far here on the heat vents or the heat exchangers, but we should have enough materials to pull this off. And I also started making up some of the steel-plated reinforced stone, which is basically just a really hardened stone that will prevent some explosions in the base. We definitely don't want that around here, and I definitely shouldn't have placed this. At least we know it's strong, and expensive, very expensive. But yeah, back to the issue with the platinum cables. So I think we're going to do silicon rubber. To make silicon rubber, I think we actually have all the chemicals and materials. It's just a matter of putting them all together. So starting from the silicon rubber, we need to mix sulfur and polydimethylsiloxane. Another very fun word to say. And this is a chemical reaction between water and dimethyl dichlorosilane. I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah. And this we mix chloromethane with silicon, and chloromethane is just methane and chlorine. So we're going to need 2 chemical reactors LV, which we actually have crafted, 2 MV chemical reactors. Let's see, is that it? I think we also need a fluid solidifier as well, and possibly a fluid extractor. Oh no, this gives us the fluid. Yeah, I was thinking we have to fluid extract the polydimethylsiloxane. Aha, 1 fluid solidifier. I think this was from the toluene before, when I accidentally crafted this. I think we'll also need a bunch of tanks and fluid and item conduits as well. Let me gather those. And probably also some combustion generators as well. Alright, so we got our first 2 chemical reactors here placed. First one is receiving methane gas. This is coming in via this steel fluid pipe, which goes all the way to our distillation tower over there. This is the last output of the steam cracked heavy fuel. So this we have to mix with chlorine, which we have a huge backlog of here from the salt water in the moon. So this will also go in this chemical reactor. And this will be on circuit 11. This process also gives us hydrochloric acid, which I was actually going to distill, but we're using hydrochloric acid as part of PVC down here. So hydrochloric is supposed to be in the super tank for the input of this LCR. And it looks like it's the same cost, right? It's 2 chlorine, 1 ethylene for polyvinyl chloride. If we use hydrochloric acid, we have to add the oxygen here on this step. but it doesn't cost us any more chlorine. Okay, so we're going to keep using hydrochloric acid here, and instead of distilling the output of this, we'll just connect it to this fluid conduit down here. Then it's also going to give us one empty cell since one of it is going into hydrochloric. It uses 2 chlorine cells per recipe. And the other one will be the chloromethane, which will go into the second chemical reactor here. And we will need to filter the insert on this thing. Oh, that's extract. We want insert here. You know what, let's hook up some power to get this thing going. It's going to be easier to work with. Okay, so I went and collected a spare battery buffer that we had, as well as a combustion generator. I don't think both of these machines will be running constantly, so I think it's fine just to share one combustion generator between them. Oh, it already started working. I guess some of the batteries had charge in it. I don't know if you guys just saw that there. I'm actually speechless. My heart is racing right now. Oh my goodness, that guy down there. Wow. I have filtered the extracts of this chemical reactor so the hydrochloric's being sent below. And the chloromethane is going to the next chemical reactor where we have to mix this with silicon. Yeah, and actually this is the MV step, so this will have to be an MV chemical reactor instead. Which means we'll probably have to shift this over a block or two. Let's not waste the fuel in the combustion generator though. We'll take this out first and then we move it. Okay, we got some things switched around with the power here. So the LV combustion generator is here with the battery buffer on top. And the MV one is here with the battery buffer on top. Should be safe enough as long as we don't connect these two cables right here. Otherwise we are very sad. But we are getting our dimethyl dichlorosilane. This just goes into one more chemical reactor with water. So I think we're going to use a reservoir for the water, but I took the jetpack off and put it in one of those machines to charge. I realised that we don't actually have a staircase up here. Another sign of a great design base. Yeah, this place needs retired. Really badly. So you are now receiving water, we have the reservoir placed underneath. We can just automatically extract from this chemical reactor. No, we can't, because one of them has to be in cells, that's right. I guess we put the water in cells then, we can do a little fluid canner down here. Or even just a fluid tank here. And we can actually use the empty cells from this chemical reactor, which will be filled inside the tank, and then we put a conveyor on the top side of this tank, set to export. Oh, we'll have to take the water out of this chemical reactor though. And this is going to need circuit 11, but before we do that actually, we should maybe pick up the quest for this. 42 chloromethane cells. Let's make sure we stop this machine. And we'll have to refill this one with some chlorine. Okay, so I spent some time to finish the setup off, and in theory it should give us silicon rubber sheets out of this solidifier. Oh, I'm missing the mold as well. We have to input sulfur here. Make sure we pick up this fluid for the quest again. Quest? Hello? Was that the wrong fluid? Oh, we just don't have enough. Okay, it's 21 that it wants for the quest. So now we can enable the fluid auto output on this, sends it to this chemical reactor which makes polydimethyl siloxane pulp, and it also gives us diluted hydrochloric acid. So the diluted hydrochloric acid here comes out on this item conduit and is filtered into the side of this fluid canner. That sends its contents onto the distillery, and then this is connected to the same ender fluid conduit as this one here, and that sends the hydrochloric acid back downstairs. I mean, not downstairs, we don't have stairs. And the polydimethyl siloxane pulp has to be sent into this chemical reactor here. So we're missing one more item filter for this. We also need to give this sulfur, which we're going to pull from the drawer above, just with a conveyor module on there. Actually, you know what? Let's save resources. Let's use the item conduit, it's already here anyway. And add sulfur to the filter here. Now you're working, nice. I'm a little bit concerned about the LV power here, we're still just running it off this battery buffer, but it seems to be okay. Oh no, and the quest wants me to pick this up again. Oh, I hate when it does this. It just asked me for this fluid in the previous quest. Yeah, here, and then we have to hold it again. But it's already inside the machine. Okay, fine, more chlorine then. Meanwhile, I guess we craft the mold for the fluid solidifier. I really should switch to Gregtech machines for this process, but I mean, our smeltery is still here, we may as well use it, right? Okay, quest book, are you happy? Yes, you are. And so am I. Make sure we check off the next quest, we need to hold some sulfur. And finally, we can hook this up to the fluid solidifier here. And you should be making us silicon rubber sheets, nice. I was going to place a little drawer here actually, but I think we'll just keep it as fluid in the fluid solidifier. We'll let this back up since we need the fluid to coat the cable anyway. And we can turn this machine back on. So I did also include these item conduits just to move the empty cells back to where they're supposed to be. So basically the inputs for this is silicon dust, sulfur dust, and chlorine cells in this chemical reactor. And it will give us silicon rubber. Not exactly the cleanest setup you can do for this, but I mean it ain't bad, and we're moving bases soon anyway. So was setting up all of that really necessary just to coat one platinum cable? Probably not, right? Wait, hold on, don't tell me I've got the wrong fluid. No, I think we just need the 4 platinum foil. And this allows us to complete our nuclear reactor. The easy part is done though, now we have to actually set this thing up. Along with craft the rest of the heat exchangers and create enough of that reinforced stone so that we don't end up with a crater right here. So getting this reactor operational is going to be very expensive, so I moved the miner actually from a copper vein onto a diamond vein. And we're going to need a lot of diamonds, among other things, for these list of components that we need to finish this reactor. So we're going to start with the most difficult part here, which is the overclocked heat vents, which takes 1 advanced each, which takes the diamond, lots and lots of steel, and 2 more reactor heat vents, which is double copper plates and silver, and the heat vents is a lot of aluminium, so yeah. And we need 26 of these things. Oh, these are stainless steel screws as well, not iron screws. Nice. I forgot these things don't stack. This is this is great. Alright, there is 52 heat vents. Actually, we're going to need more than 52. We need some for these component heat vents as well. You know what, let me just grab all this stuff. I'm going to do the whole list here. It'll probably take me a few hours, but we'll be back to build the reactor. I hope. Yeah, you know what, this actually wasn't as bad as I was first expecting to be. I mean, don't get me wrong, it used pretty much all of our gold. But if we got everything laid out correctly, this should give us our 1920 EU per tick when this thing is on. Assuming we put in the fuel rods, which we have here. You might notice also, we have a fuel line cutting directly in the middle of this thing. This is definitely going to have to be rerouted. I think we'll just end up moving it over a couple of blocks, but this will probably be removed soon anyway, since we'll be powering the blast furnaces with the nuclear reactor. I do want to keep this line in place though, for now. But again, we don't waste fuel here. This is going to be a lot of cetane on that one line there. How can we possibly be 1 pipe short here? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, I guess that side's on the bend, whereas this one's a straight line. Okay, so before we get crazy and start turning this thing on, we do need a way to, first of all, extract the power, and I would also like to look into some powered storage for this thing. So I wonder if we've unlocked the EV battery buffers by now. It looks like the battery buffer is over here. These don't look too bad, it's just a machine hull and some aluminium wire. However, I would also like to get some batteries for this, of course, in the form of these Lapotron Crystals. Yeah, here they are here. And it looks like we're locked behind the EV assembler. Oh, you're gonna hate this, yeah. Okay, what do the EV components take? What like are the motors? We need 4x black steel, titanium rods and neodymium rods, as well as 2x aluminium cable. Okay. The titanium we can manage. The black steel we can also manage. I think we have around 2 stacks of this stuff. The aluminium of course is no problem. Neodymium though. I was checking out our neodymium supply earlier and somehow we have these 4 rods from something. And we do also have this 1 stack of neodymium from the moon, I think. Yeah, we definitely want to get this stuff processed. There is also the fact of needing EV circuits for this as well, since the robot arms takes the circuits as well as the assembling machine. So we need a total of 4 EV circuits, which is 8 HV circuits. Yeah, it's 2 processor assemblies per workstation, and we're 1 short. Of course we are. Wait, maybe a quest reward can save us here. Please tell me there's a circuit in one of these things. Yeah, I'm not seeing any more HV circuits here available to us. I guess we just craft up some more, they're really not that bad at this point in the game. 11 HV circuits is just about all we can manage right now, just because of the circuit board cost. Oh wait, that's right, we need the plastic boards for the workstations anyway. I guess we are waiting on this chemical reactor then. Both of these chemical reactors. Okay, 4 workstations, well 5 workstations, we already had 1. And more work for the wire mill, we did have 2 stacks of black steel. We're gonna get straight into this, you're gonna hate this quest. So after all the crafting we've been doing, we're down to 300 titanium. Which really isn't all that much, to be honest. This hasn't lasted quite as long as I would have hoped. I mean, I guess there's almost another 2 stacks in here, and we have some more rutile to process. Some of it will be made into plates. I guess we'll do a stack into rods as well. And we'll also need some small gears, but probably not a stack of those. We'll start off with 16. And the last thing is the neodymium. How is that doing here? Lost in all of the resources. Okay, looks like we probably want to ore wash this, since it's quite hard to come by. Yeah, this is going to be mighty slow, but we're going to ore wash it. Okay, I think we're ready here. We're going to dedicate another one of these work tables to the EV side. We got some rubber rings, the rods, the plates, the rotors. We're just actually missing the neodymium. We have the 4 rods right here, and let me guess, this is going to be another blast furnace? Uh-huh. 200 seconds per ingot, of course it is. Of course it's 200 seconds per ingot. This is Gregtech New Horizons, yeah. Just one more reason why it's going to be a good idea to upgrade these blast furnaces, and I'm even considering adding another one actually. Oh yeah, and we did also end up with a bunch of extra heat vents. Not because I miscounted, but, well actually yes, because I miscounted, but I didn't notice the assembler recipe until it was too late. So the recipe for this advanced heat vent takes 2 reactor vents in the crafting table, and the assembler only takes 1, so yeah, we're left with a bunch of unstackables. But we can at least make our first 4 EV motors, and we can also make the first pistons, the first pumps, we need a screwdriver, and after a bit of patience with the blast furnace, we can pick up our 2 robot arms, complete the quest, and we'll need 1 more conveyor module, the first EV machine, the assembling machine. Oh nice, it also gives us some neodymium. Oh, but it's a choice, we'll leave it there. For now, let's move on to the Lapotron Crystals. So I mixed up some of this Lapotron dust with some lapis dust and energium, which we had left over, but I did actually make a little bit too much extra. This Lapotron dust we have to put through an autoclave with either vibrant alloy or energetic, but since we have energetic here cooking in the blast furnace, we'll use this. So this we put through the fluid extractor, and then we need the assembling machine, which I for now just have put up here. So I crafted up this transformer, and we have this in step up mode. So this is taking in 4 amps of HV power and outputting 1 amp of EV. And I plugged this in flawlessly the first time, believe me. This wire here totally didn't blow up. Luckily it was only the wire though, and no machines, so yeah. So we got enough Lapotron dust for 9 of these, it takes 30 per craft. Uh-oh. I'm hoping I just didn't plug this in when I fixed the wiring. Yeah, the cable just isn't connected to the machine. These Lapotron crystals used up pretty much the last of our lapis as well. So we were getting lapis from the Twlight Forest. It does also spawn in the overworld, but our Twilight Forest portal was right there. And it's gone, so we need another one. But we will finish off this system first with the reactor before we go back to the Twilight Forest. So now that we have these raw Lapotron crystals, we have to send this through the EV assembling machine. That thing right there should be receiving enough power from the HV line. We do need some more HV circuits as well, which I've just finished crafting here. Yeah, recipe only calls for 1 amp. We should be providing this thing 1 amp. Are you working? Yeah, nice. Okay, 30 seconds. Oh man, this autoclave's 120 seconds. Everything takes so long. Well, in the meantime, I have actually started hooking up a little bit of the redstone control to this reactor. So the reactor does take a redstone signal to run, but we don't want it to run permanently. As these fuel rods don't last forever, we will eventually have to replace these things. But basically what we have here is the EV battery buffer. Then we have 2 energy detector covers on this, measuring the total EU stored. The longer one is inverted, and the shorter line is normal. And both of these lines actually feed into each input side of the RS latch. And then the RS latch is then connected up to the reactor up there. Of course there's no fuel rods in here right now, so it's not on. But after we get the Lapotron crystals, it'll be a bit easier to explain how this works. But then we just have the output cable, this aluminium cable, which we're then going to send along to our blast furnaces over here. So I made up a few more of these HV energy hatches, and some transformers. So right now the blast furnaces are only running at HV. I don't think we have the capability to do EV energy hatches yet. Actually maybe. Oh no, we need tungsten steel for this, that's right. Yeah, so we'll have to do double HV energy hatches on these. Let's first of all disable these things, just so that we don't waste materials. So we'll start off with just the 1 blast furnace right now, we'll just do the nichrome one. Cut off the fuel supply, make sure we don't waste fuel. And we disconnect all the medium voltage stuff. Swap out the 2 MV energy hatches with HV. Okay, so this should effectively be an EV blast furnace now. We'll place our high voltage transformer, point this down, and connect our aluminium cable to this. And we have to be careful here, we want the blue alloy cable coming out of this HV one. I don't actually know what happens if you use a higher tier cable. It technically shouldn't burn up, right? We're still going to use the HV one here though. So these energy hatches request 2 amps each. 8x cable is probably overkill, but we had it anyway, so we'll use it. And then instead of the combustion generator, we hook this up to our nuclear reactor here. So we just want to connect this up to this aluminium cable. Aha, so in theory this should work, right? Now we just have to get our reactor going. So this is going to be the big test. All the Lapotron crystals have finished. These go in the battery buffer. Insert the fuel rods to the reactor in these 4 slots here, or 10 slots. Give this a redstone signal, and I think we're ready to go. Please no explosions. I did do a backup though. Okay, are we on? We are outputting 1920 EO per tick, that is a good sign. Things look to be stable with these heat vents. Yeah, I think we're okay. Core temp is still 0%. You can see these heat exchanger durabilities fluctuating a little bit, but they're not getting dangerously low. If they were, then there's a chance for this thing to melt down. But we should start to see some power in here soon. Actually, no we won't. We don't have this connected. I knew that would happen. We have to plug in the inputs to the battery buffer, of course, and replace the redstone. Okay, now this should start filling. After it fills the internal buffer. I think the internal buffer of this EV battery buffer is quite large. Maybe we should scan this. Is this actually receiving anything? It's not receiving any power. Okay, we're doing something wrong. Has the cable got power? It doesn't. Maybe things are just being weird, I don't know. Do we need some sort of transformer on this? Oh, wait a second. I think we're getting power. I think we have power in this thing. We're starting to fill the Lapotrons. Okay, nice. And because of the way we have this redstone set up, it should stay on until the Lapotron crystals fill up. Because we have this energy detector cover inverted, it means that when these are filled, the redstone will no longer be powered, and it means that it should shut itself off, and then this one will turn it on when the batteries are empty. Okay, so what happens now when we power this blast furnace? 40 seconds? I don't know if that must be EV, right? Hey, at least it's working. We have an EV blast furnace. Let's try with something like nichrome. We should be able to see an overclock on this thing. Yeah, I think it is. 109 seconds. That is significantly less than if we were to put it through this blast furnace here. So we'll let all the nichrome go, and I think I'm actually going to add another blast furnace here. Probably just keep the titanium one at HV, and we'll do the second one here at EV as well. There is also this information panel, which we got from one of the quest rewards, and I can't get this to work. I don't know if maybe I clicked this on the wrong block. It's possible that it has to be the center reactor controller block for this to work. But this was originally a sensor kit, which then turned into the card. And I don't think there's any way to convert them back, is there? We can get 2 circuits back from it, but yeah. Oh well. Alright, so I took a minute just to clean up this reactor area. It's nothing fancy, just some bit blocks. Just to remove all the cobble and gravel. And we have a little area down here for the wiring. We also have access to our battery buffer here, which is, I mean, it seems to be filling quite nicely. We're at 1.1 million on each of these Lapotron crystals. And I also started laying out the shell for our 3rd blast furnace. We don't have the coils yet, we're waiting on the nichrome. But actually we have some nichrome already cooked. I think there's some in our chests over there. Oh, and I know you can wall share, but this is on a chunk border. Plus it looks better like this. I mean, not that this base looks any good anymore. I'm completely off this. I just want to get through this part of progression and then move bases ASAP. So yeah, we already got this also hooked up to the battery buffer there. For EV power, we're also going to run this EV. We're just missing these 2 cables here. So I think just to finish us off today, we're going to do something about these loot bags. So I haven't been opening them all. We have 28 of the HV ones, which in fact we will now trade in for EV. Okay, we got 9 EVs. But before we do open them, let's look at a way to enchant them actually. So I know that there is this print and press you guys have been recommending. Doesn't look too bad. These are just blocks of steel. We should have some thaumium from when we made balance shards somewhere. Yeah, there we go. We have 200 thaumium. Nice. Alright, I've never actually used this thing before, but I was doing some reading and I think we also need the typesetting table. We need to chemical bath some sticks with some seed oil, along with some wood planks. Then we use the sealed wood to make chase. I think we also need this as part of the printing press as well. And we got the typeset. Oh, there was a quest for it. Ah, it's in the MV tab here. So yeah, basically the way I understand this to work is we can duplicate fortune or any sort of enchanted books with this. So we're going to use this method to duplicate our fortune books and then apply these to the loot bags. We do have at least 1 fortune book that we got, I think from a dungeon somewhere. And if we trade 64 emeralds and 8 books, we can get another one. I don't know how worth that is though. I mean, we have a lot of emeralds, we may as well, right? It's probably not going to be worth, to be honest. Once I figure out how this works. Let's do it anyway. So since neither of these machines have any GUI, I think we can use something called the reading glasses. I like the way these look. That's awesome, especially with the oxygen mask on as well. So now we just put the fortune book in the typesetting table along with the chase, and we get this enchanted plate, which I think then has to go in the printing press. We need to give this some squidding as well. Now what? I think we just click the book on. Ah, there we go, okay. Yeah, we just had to have some blank books on the side. Is this our second book? It is our second book. Okay, we have another fortune book. Awesome. So now I think we can just combine these in the anvil. We get a fortune 2. And I think we can just do the same thing with this on the printing press until we have the fortune 3. But as you can see, it did cost us levels. And I guess now we'll need another enchanted plate as well. So we'll need to make another one of these chases. And fortune 2 requires 31 levels. So yeah, I'm not really sure what the best way to get levels is, to be honest. But these enchanted press plates do have at least 3 uses on them. So we can actually grab another fortune 1 or 2 fortune 1s to make 2 fortune 2s. And that way we save making the fortune 2 with the printing press. So 2 more fortune 1s in the anvil and then 2 fortune 2s should give us our fortune 3 book. And now we can put this on the typesetting table, which requires 40 levels. Yeah, we don't have 40 levels. Okay. Well, I think in that time we may just be able to muster up enough nichrome for this. We had around 40 in our chests already. There's some in the vacuum freezer. It's going to be close either way. We need 2 stacks of this ingot to get our coil blocks for the blast furnace here. I'm hoping we also do have some spare mica as well. I'm sure we do. Yeah, we have some insulator foil. And we do have the insulator sheets as well. Awesome. Oh, I knew it was going to be close. We're 1 short. 1 coil block. Well, in the meantime, let's just do some daily chores. I do this pretty much every day. Go and check our oil drilling rigs. This one right here is probably close enough that we can hook up a long distance fluid pipe. But honestly, it's not that bad just to come and collect this every now and then. Has it stopped? Oh yeah, it's out of fuel. And the second oil rig is actually across the river here. About 300 blocks away from the base. Should be right around here. Yep. This one is also stopped, but it looks like this one is actually out of oil, I guess. Yeah, it's giving us the mining pipe back. I'll have to move this thing over to another chunk. The other thing we have to do though is relight our Twilight Forest portal, since we lost it under here. In fact, I'm not even sure if it's still lit or not. I can't remember if I just covered over it or not. I think it might have been just too low. No, that thing's gone. Okay, we need another one anyway. Before we light that thing though, we need some pork chops. Okay, that's 5. We need a total of 8 for this. You're probably wondering what we're doing as well. Come on, piggies, where are you? So, what we're actually going to do with this pork chop is, first of all, take off our backpack. It is empty. And we upgrade this to the Pig Adventure backpack. Complete our quest. And for the next one here, which is the upgrade to the pig, we can actually get a zombie pigman if we get struck by lightning. And this will give us permanent fire resistance if we have it on our back. I'm not exactly sure why that gave us the quest, even though we only have the regular pig. I don't know if I'm a fan of the look of this one though. I think I prefer the default one better. But let's see if we can get this to work. Wait, did it convert? Oh, I guess it did. We have fire resistance. Awesome. Ah, now it turns to the pigman one. Yeah, that looks better. So yeah, we're here to find lapis and also copper. We're pretty much completely out of copper, so I'm going to place down the miners. I'll get our blast furnaces configured as well, but I think we're going to wrap things up here. Oh, we actually do have enough nichrome though for the blast furnace. There's the last coil block, which belongs right there. Has problems. Yeah. I forgot about maintenance. Well, anyways, that is going to do this for today. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all soon for some more Gregtech New Horizons.